All right, what's up? Here we are at the end of the trading day, finishing nice solidly green today, $234.67. So pretty solid today, given that we didn't have much opportunity, but we did have VRNA pre-market, which was really nice here for the break of 1250 pre-market. You could have got that for like a nice bull flag and then ride that up to 13 in the break of 13. Again, another 1 minute bull flag here, runs up to the high and breaks out and kind of grind its way up to 14, and then from there it got super choppy here. We had one more bull flag here for another potential 50 cent pop. And so this entire move here was about 20%, but because it was over $10, there was a lot more kind of range in the stock. So like if you could capture 10 or 20 cents on some of these breakouts or these pullbacks, you could be up nicely. VRNA is up, I'm up on the most, 161, after giving back a little bit off the top in the opening range here, very choppy. I did have my biggest trade on VRNA today, which I was in 500 shares at the opening, as it dipped down all the way to first entry was at $13.99. So on a quick dip down here, we had a flash down here under 14, and I bought for the reclaim to 14. And as we were getting that red to green, I was taking my profits in 14.30, so I got about 35 cents on 500 shares, which was really nice. I was on a quick $170 within a couple seconds. But then, it was just so whippy here at the open. I was anticipating a more cleaner red to green. Here I did a scalp for about a small loss, and then I did go for the breakout at 14.66 all the way up here, all the way at the high of this candle, and then I just got flashed down, and I sold at $14, $14.01, so about 65-cent loss, only on 100 shares, thank God. But nevertheless, it was still a 60-cent loss. But because I had lower share size, it didn't really impact that much. I only gave about $65 off the top. But yeah, this dip here, 500 shares, is quite nice. And that was it for VRNA. It just went backside. Then popped up was traded RETO. RETO did a nice red to green. And then here I traded for the breakout and then the pullback, the 1 minute pullback. And I think I was small green on that one, RETO. Yeah, $13 on that one. Then we had HLBZ was another one, multi-day continuation. This thing's been running for 3 days or 2.5 days now. So didn't know how much higher it could go. It was a little bit extended on the daily. But here we did get at the open a nice red to green and run through the highs. But it was a little bit choppy. I was very, you buy the top and it whips back down and then whips back up. A lot of that's action today. But I was able to walk away green on it because I was able to manage my risk. So here I got a dip here at 13, selling at 16. After the break in the 1 minute new high here, after we reclaimed the 9 EMA, which is not too bad. Here is where I was anticipating the break from the pre-market high. Pre-market high was 222. So here is the anticipating break of the pre-market high, all the way up to 222. We did double top here at 223. Right at the high, then pull back kind of sharply, and then this is where I thought it was gonna just roll over and just be done with. But then it did start to curl back up, and then that's when I started to get more aggressive for the break of the 223 high. And then again here, kind of just scalping the dips. But that was really it. The move was very short-lived. It went from $2 to 230. It's about a 30-cent move, a 10% move or so, a little bit more. I was only up $1 on it, so I guess I was break even on most of it. I think I had to have given back on one of these trades. Let me go through the HLBZ. I can actually look at them here. Let's see where I went wrong here with HLBZ. Yeah, here's a $42 loss, and there is a, yeah, so I must have given back my profits there. Let's see exactly where this trade was. So 945 to 946. It was in 1,000 shares. 945. Yeah, so here, going for the breakout, but it did double top and then it flushed about 11 cents, and that's where I stopped out for a loss. And then from there, so yeah, starting off, actually I went red. I started off red on it, and then I started to make back some profits, and then deeper red, and then started to make back some more profits on that leg after that breakout, which put me right around break even. So I didn't make any profits on HLBZ. This was the loss here, and then I started to make it back on this leg. But it didn't really give me much to work with. It was a very short-lived move, not much of a range. So that was HLBZ. AKAN, I did like maybe 1 or 2 trades on this. Here I got filled. I wanted to get filled at 150, but it moved so fast I got filled all the way up at 154, and I had to close it because I was in too high, and it did flush. Here I did a nice breakthrough 142, but it didn't hold over 142, and I took it off for a quick 2-cent win. So AKAN, small green. EFTR is another one. Here wasn't too bad. Here I scalped the dip, but I was still holding 140. So this is about a break-even trade. This is a small loss. This is a 2-cent win, quick pullback, and then a retest of the high, which rejected. Here we had a nice dip and then it reclaimed pretty quickly. It was really kind of odd, hard to read there on EFTR. But I guess where I made the money was here at 165, my starter, and then adding for the break of the high, selling some at 170, selling the rest at 174, 181. And that's where I made the profit on EFTR, although it was really small. And AERC was one that popped up on patent news, so I was trading it quite early at quite early in the move, all the way down here to the breakout here at 530, and I rode this up for a nice 8 cents or so, and then went in for that first 1-minute pullback after a fresh breakout, and then we got that break of 550, and so I got another 5 cents there. Here again, trying to scalp through the high there, got a couple cents, and then here again I'm trying to anticipate a dip and then a nice pop, but it kind of fell through, lost about 10 cents, and then it turns around, reverses, breaks again back through the high, and that's when I started to get in a little bit high because I missed the move, got in here, took some off for a small loss, took the rest off for about break even. And then in this area again here, I'm getting a little bit too antsy, too aggressive here. I'm adding too high. So here the first entry was 84, so a little bit too high, and then it goes for that pullback, and then I add back here again to my position at 591, looking for $6, and I'm just a little bit too aggressive here at the highs. What I needed to do was kind of shift to scalping off the lows. Which I did do eventually, but yeah, so here I actually went red because I added 500 shares at 591 and then selling it at 580, so about 580 and 582, so a 10-cent loss. So I went red on AERC. And I was a little bit flustered because the stock moved about 10%, and I was red on it from the one trade that I got a little bit too aggressive on at the highs. So I kind of switched my approach as it did start breaking out more, where I was now focusing on the dips. So here I was focusing on 604, a quick dip there, but I did sell at break even. And then here's another dip at 616, selling at 618. Down here could have been a decent trades down here at 580s. I'm not sure why I didn't take that. And then it kind of grinded up. And so this whole action was grindy. And that's the kind of action that I'm still working on trying to get more comfortable with, because there is money to be made on these grindy actions, but you got to be focused on the lows, because if you're getting too aggressive at the highs, that's when you really give back profits and you look like an idiot, because like the stock is going up and you're losing money. So, with this kind of action, this grindy action, if you can recognize it early enough, that's when you need to kind of shift to scalping off the lows and taking that 5, taking that 10 cents, and not adding high, looking for like an extension. Because here we're just, you would pop up a couple cents, then you dip down 20 cents, then you pop up a couple cents, dip down 20 cents. And so if you're adding high, you're going to get caught in that 20-cent dip, and you're going to be a little bit too high, and then you're going to start being a little bit having too much risk on the table. Then we got a nice dip down here back to the 90 EMA, kind of again scalping off the lows. So here's 2 cents there. This one was a small loss. Here was a nice 6 cents on 600 shares. So I got my starter here at 27, and then adding in the 30s for that break back over that 90 EMA. And we did get that 1 minute new high, and I kind of took profit into that move. Then we had a nice rounded bottom here, double bottom down here at $6, held $6 quite nicely. Did okay off the lows here, 4 cents there. This was actually an 8-cent loss, so I kind of gave back the profit there. I was looking for a quick dip back over the 90 EMA. I thought this candle would rip up, but I was a couple minutes too soon. Did another dip down below the VWAP then, or the 90 EMA, and then reclaimed. And we did get the move, but I didn't. It was again, that grindy action. If I would have had that patience, I would have had to hold for what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes. A 9-minute trade, potential. Yeah, I definitely could have had the opportunity to buy here at 619 and hold for the break of the new high. But I don't know. I mean, it's not really how I like to trade, but I think I do eventually need to open that door to where if it's in a front side move on the 5-minute, take a dip off the lows here of support, and be willing and able to hold for 10 minutes for the break of the new high. But I didn't get my next trade in from down here at 619 till 663 for the break of the high, and not really capitalizing as much as I wanted to. Getting towards the end of the day, but this was a break even. This was 3 cents. This was 5 cents. This was 2 cents. Quick dip here down at 696 for the break back over 7, and 2 cents there, 2 cents there. Then we had a nice flag here into the 9 EMA. This would have been a really good entry and hold. But I did get in at 93, but it sold a little bit quick at 95, and I left about another 30 cents on the table there. Yeah, I did definitely leave some money on the table here on AERC. On these dips, I could have definitely been more patient here and holding for, even on this trade, just a couple seconds longer. I could have got an extra 20 cents on that move off the 9 EMA. And then here again off the lows, maybe just even buying here at 619 and then just putting a stop down here at 6 or 559 and looking to take profits into the highs. But there's also a lot of times where that move, if you take that position here, a lot of the times it'll pop up, break this 1 minute new high, and then this candle, come down in and reverse all the way back down. So that happens a lot too. So definitely Um, I don't know. I'm definitely err on the side of taking more trades, selling, taking my profits, and been willing to get back in. It's just that I didn't really have a clear entry from here to here. It was just very grindy. Um, so very hard to get a clear entry in this area. And especially because it was still under this pivot point at 645. So really the entry was probably the break of 646. And I was a little bit too late to that. So if I got in at 646 and then looking to add to the high, that could have been my trade instead of, this is not one of the trades that I would be willing to take starter down here or just taking a position down here and holding for 10 or 20 minutes. It's not really my style. I just find it that I'm just not able to manage my risk as much. And I just don't like being that exposed to the market for that long. So yeah, if I can have a scalp on under here and it doesn't really resolve after you get that double bottom, it doesn't really resolve much quickly. Here is very grindy. Yeah, take my profits and then looked for the next entry to get back in. And then that next entry would have been the break back over 646 on this pivot point. And now you're looking for, which we did, we got a nice surge up to the high. And then you're looking for the break of the previous high. So that's kind of how I should trade this type of setup, because sometimes it's good to take this down here off the lows, because once you see that break back over the 9 EMA, you kind of reclaim that support and you find that support. Sometimes this goes real quick, like within a minute or 2 minutes, it rips back up to the high. Similarly, like it's one of these moves. What was it on? AKAN or yeah, VRNA. So like yeah, one of these, like sometimes the entries off the support can run up within a minute or two. So like for example, on VRNA, taking that position off the support is a really good, that break back over support. So entry would be at 1279. A lot of these entries, they'll just rip right up to the high if it's a really volatile stock. And so that's why it's good to take a position down there at the lows. However, on AERC, we didn't really get that. We did get more of a grindy action and a slow move to the highs. So that's why it's still good to take that position in case you do get that real rip right back up to the highs, then where you can take profits. But sometimes it'll be a more of a grindy action, and that's where you're looking for. Now maybe you take your profits. Like for my situation, I would probably take my profits and then look for that next entry, and show that there's support in there, because if it's going to take a long time for it to resolve, you never really know if it's actually going to hold up. So that's just kind of my 2 cents. But that's it for today. Finished the day up decently green, $234. So back in the green on the month. Made back the loss from earlier this month. So I had that $745 loss. And I made that back within, what was that, 3 days, 4 days? Made that back within 5 days. So it didn't set me back all that much. I mean, I was able to make it back pretty quickly. So I'm back in the green now for the month of August. So that's good. And I think this month is still early in the month. There's still a lot left on the table for August. And I think I'm still trying to push my share size. Every time I get an opportunity, when I'm in the flow, when I'm in the zone, I definitely have that thought of keep on leaning forward and pushing the envelope, and not to hold back. I mean, we're creatures of habit. So I mean, right now I'm in a habit of just staying at the size that I am right now. But I have to remember that when I'm really in the zone, when I'm really feeling good and the stock is moving and I'm really in tune with it, then I have to push it a little bit harder, a little bit bigger share size. And if I keep doing that, I think over time I'm just going to start breaking barriers. So that's it. If you're still watching, please hit the like button. Also comment and subscribe if you're not yet a subscriber. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, peace.